The galaxy burned. For decades, the coalition of species, a shaky alliance of claw-handed Zethari, telepathic Clions, and my own feathered Zelthian kin, fought the Vrax dominion. Those insectoid monsters swept across star systems like a plague, their hive mind directing billions of drones with cold precision. Their mandibles cracked open our ships. Their numbers drowned our armies. Half the galaxy fell, planet by planet, each loss a gut punch to our dwindling hope. I stood in the war room, watching holomaps flicker red as Vrax swarms devoured our defenses. The air stank of sweat and despair. We were losing badly. Our fleets shattered against their endless waves, our soldiers' screams echoing through comms before silence took them. The Vrax didn't negotiate, didn't tire. They just consumed. Then came the humans. Late to the fight, they stumbled into the coalition from some forgotten rock called Earth. No scales, no claws, no psychic tricks. Just soft flesh and stubborn eyes. Their ships were patched-up hulks, their weapons laughably crude. I remember the council meeting when they offered aid. A Zethari general hissed, "What can these primitives do?" A Clion sneered, "They'll die faster than the rest." I agreed. We'd seen species join and fall. Why would humans be different? Their commander, a gravel-voiced woman, just shrugged. "Give us a chance," she said. We didn't. Not then. The war was too far gone, our pride too brittle. We sent them to the fringes, cannon fodder at best. But the Vrax kept coming. I was on the bridge of the Luminous Claw when they hit Taraxis, our last stronghold in the sector. The sky turned black with their ships, thousands skittering like locusts. Our cannons roared, carving gaps they filled in seconds. I barked orders as hulls cracked and flames bloomed. A Zethari cruiser exploded to my left, raining debris. My feathers bristled as Vrax boarding pods slammed into our lines, their drones spilling out, all claws and shrieks. Soldiers fell, torn apart before they could reload. I gripped the console, talons digging in, watching our fleet dwindle to sparks in the void. The comms crackled with pleas, retreat, surrender, anything, but there was nowhere to run. The Vrax were winning and we were breaking. Then a blip on the scanner. Human ships, those ugly, jury-rigged wrecks, warped in at the edge of the fight. Not many, maybe 50, dwarfed by the Vrax armada. I cursed under my breath. "Fools," I muttered, expecting them to scatter and die. Their commander's voice cut through the static, calm as death. "Hold the line. We've got this." I stared at the screen, incredulous. Their patchwork fleet drifted forward, straight into the swarm. Outnumbered, outgunned, outclassed. Yet there they were, unyielding, as Taraxis burned behind them. The War Council convened mid-battle, Taraxis still smoldering beyond the viewport. I stood among the coalition's battered leaders, feathers singed, as the human commander patched in over a crackling hollow feed. "We hit them now," she said, voice like iron. "Not retreat, attack." A Clion scoffed, tentacles quivering. "With what? Your rust buckets." She didn't flinch. "We don't win by playing fair." Their plans spilled out. A counterstrike, reckless and wild, using their ramshackle fleet. Freighters with bolted-on guns, fighters leaking fuel, and something they called the Brawler. No specs, no explanation, just a promise it'd hurt. The Zethari general growled, "Suicide." I thought the same, but with Vrax drones clawing at our hulls, we had no better ideas. "Do it," I snapped. They launched. Their ships charged the Vrax swarm, a jagged line of steel and madness. I watched from the bridge, talons clenched, as they dove in. No formations, no finesse, just chaos. They rammed Vrax scouts, splitting them open with grinding metal. Fighters darted through the gaps, dropping crude explosives that bloomed orange against the black. The Vrax hive mind faltered, their perfect ranks stuttering as humans veered unpredictably. A freighter took a hit, engines flaring, but its crew kept firing, screaming curses over open comms. I'd never seen anything like it. Ferocity where logic demanded retreat. My crew muttered, awestruck, as human wrecks held the line against a tide that should have crushed them. Then came the Brawler. A shadow loomed on our scanners, lumbering out of the human rear guard. It wasn't a ship. It was an asteroid, massive, pocked, and rigged with thrusters coughing blue flame. I zoomed the feed, spotting weld lines and warheads strapped to its crust. "What is that?" a Klyon whispered. No answer, just a human voice barking, "Clear the lane!" The Vrax didn't react fast enough. The brawler surged, a mountain of rock and rage, and smashed into their biggest hive ship. The impact shook our hull 50 clicks away. A heartbeat later, the nukes detonated. Light seared my eyes, a supernova swallowing the Vrax flagship. When the glare faded, wreckage spun in silence. Thousands of drones drifting dead, their hive links severed. I gripped the console, beak agape. The humans cheered over comms, raw and ragged, as their fleet regrouped amid the carnage. The Vrax swarm thinned, confused, their invincible wall cracked by a species we dismissed. My skepticism burned away in that blast. These weren't primitives, they were something else, something dangerous. The Coalition's remnants buzzed with shock, but the humans didn't pause. "Round one," their commander said, voice steady. "Ready for more?" I stared at the asteroid's glowing crater, realizing this war wasn't over. It was shifting, and the humans were driving it. The Vrax didn't stay broken long. Their hive mind churned, adapting to the humans' asteroid trick. A fresh swarm surged toward us, bigger, angrier, ships bristling with claws and cannons. I braced on the luminous claws bridge as they hit. Our screens flared with impacts, human ships splintered, hulls rupturing like eggshells. A Zethary cruiser vanished in a fireball to my right. The comms erupted with human voices, shouting coordinates, laughing through gritted teeth. "Fall back!" a Klyon officer pleaded over the channel. The human commander cut in sharp as a blade. "No, we hold." I cursed their stubbornness, expecting annihilation. But they didn't break. Their defiance was unreal. A human pilot, her fighter's wing shredded, rammed a Vrax carrier, detonating her core in a white-hot burst. Another ship, leaking atmosphere, disgorged a boarding team, humans in patched suits swinging pipes and plasma cutters. They breached a Vrax frigate, fighting hand to claw, their snarls audible through hacked feeds. I watched, feathers trembling, as they tore through drones like a storm. The Vrax were precise, relentless, but humans were feral, thriving in the chaos, feeding off it. A Coalition gunner beside me whispered, "They're insane." No, they were alive, more than we'd ever been, clawing victory from despair. The Vrax pressed harder, targeting the human flagship, a battered hauler spitting defiance. The shields buckled, and I thought they'd fold. Then static hissed, and their comms spat gibberish, Vrax gibberish. The humans had cracked their hive link, pumping fake orders into the swarm. I zoomed the tactical display, stunned, as Vrax ships turned, cannons blasting their own. A hive frigate imploded, caught in friendly fire. Drones swarmed aimlessly, colliding mid-flight. The humans didn't invent this tech. They'd stolen it, twisted it, made it a weapon. Their commander's voice rang out, dry as dust. "Checkmate." The swarm unraveled, precision dissolving into panic. Couldn't look away. These soft-skinned madmen weren't just surviving, they were winning. Their flagship limped forward, trailing sparks, leading a ragged charge. Coalition stragglers, Zethary bombers, Klyon scouts, followed, drawn by their fire. A human gunner roared over the comms, "Push him back to hell!" And our cannons joined the fray, pounding the fractured Vrax line. The tide turned, not by strength or numbers, but by something alien minds couldn't grasp. Humans thought sideways, struck where no one expected. I'd mocked them once. Now I saw it, they weren't prey. They were predators, and the Vrax were learning it the hard way. Taraxis's orbit filled with wreckage, half theirs, half ours. But the humans kept fighting, bloodied and unbowed, dragging us all toward a chance we'd thought lost. The Vrax broke. Their swarm, once an unstoppable tide, shattered under the human onslaught. I watched from the luminous claw as the humans led the final push. Their flagship, a gutted husk, drove straight at the last hive ship, cannons blazing. Coalition remnants, Zethary, Clients, my own Zelthians, followed, emboldened by their fury. The humans didn't hesitate. Fighters darted in, unloading everything. Missiles, scrap, even their own wreckage, until the hive ship cracked. A human voice, hoarse and wild, flooded the comms. "Light it up!" The target erupted, a fireball swallowing drones mid-flight. Silence fell, broken only by human cheers. Ragged, defiant, alive. Taraxis was ours again. The aftermath was grim. Wreckage spun through the void, a graveyard of metal and flesh. I walked the deck, tallying losses. The war wasn't over. The Vrax would regroup. But this victory bought us time, a lifeline we'd nearly lost. Humans limped among us, sharing water and crude jokes. One, arm in a sling, pressed a ration bar into my talons. "Eat," he grunted, grinning through bloodied teeth. I took it, staring. We'd called them weak, yet here they stood, unbroken where we'd faltered. The coalition buzzed with their name, humans, the primitives who laughed at death. I heard a Zethary pilot mimic their battle cries, testing the sound. To fit, their mark went deeper. In the war room, I studied reports, coalition tactics shifting, mirroring human tricks, decoys, feints, raw aggression. The clients, once aloof, demanded human advisors. I replayed the battle in my mind. The asteroid, the hacked comms, the sheer will to fight when all seemed lost. They hadn't just won. They'd rewritten war itself. The Vrax would come again, but now they'd hesitate, their hive mind whispering of a species that defied logic. I looked out at Taraxis, its scarred surface glowing faintly. The humans had saved it, not with strength, but with something fiercer. Cunning, chaos, hope. I spoke to their commander later, her voice steady despite the bandages. "Why risk it all?" I asked. She shrugged. "Someone had to. That was it, no grand speeches, just action." I nodded, feathers settling. The galaxy had shifted that day, tilted by a species we'd dismissed. Their patched ships drifted past our viewport, ugly and proud, crews singing some howling song over open channels. It echoed in my skull, a sound of survival. The Vrax feared it, the coalition craved it, and I understood it. Humans didn't just endure, they thrived where others broke. They changed the game, turned a lost war into a fight we could win. And as their lights blinked against the stars, I knew one truth. The galaxy would never be the same.